Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And we're going to get my bungle swizzle stick out. I had to tape it actually. If anybody knows the bungles, tell them I'm in dire need of a new swizzle stick. You know what I should do? I should send the bungles some coins and maybe they'll send me back a swizzle stick. So, coming up maybe before the end of this year or maybe at the beginning of January, the bungles are going to get some coins from me. I'm just going to send some US coins over in the hopes I get a new swizzle stick. Now, this isn't just taped a swizzle stick, it actually is broken on that end and I can't find the other piece of it. So, but I'm going to still use it for this video. And this video is about the 1976 10 new pence coins from the United Kingdom. And I've done videos on those coins before, on some of the other coins before. And what happened was I got this coin right here. And this is just a magnificent coin. And when sometimes you hear people talking about how they got a coin with some toning on it, and this isn't the kind of toning that obscures it, this is the kind of toning that makes the coin just look really sweet. And you can kind of see the colors coming in through there. Now, one of the things you can tell about this coin is in really good shape. You can see the hairs on the stomach of the lion. You can see, let me see, magnify it up. You can see the dots around the edge of the crown. You can see the dots very separated from the rim here. There's a little chip, but this is a pretty good coin for a circulated coin. Little scratches here and there, and then the color on it is just fantastic. And when I saw this, I said, "Oh, this is what got me." See the purpling in here? So when I saw this purpling across the 76, I said, I'm going to do a video on this coin. But then I saw that we had done videos on the 1976 10 new pence coins before, and actually this one here. Now we have a viewer, Jerry Healy, who writes comments once in a while, and he loved this coin. This is, of course, a proof, brilliant uncirculated coin from 1976. Elizabeth II, DG Reg FD, and then she's wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. And one of the things you can see on this proof coin is there's little folds up here it's actually her hair on the other side of the crown, but it's very funny because you don't see that much, or you don't notice it much on these the worn or circulated coins. Another thing that we need to look at, of course, is that this has a milled rim, and we can see that's really tight. And then when we get to the back, we see that it says new here and pence here and 10 at the bottom. Again, we have this beaded outer rim. And you see this sometimes with the proof coins. See how it seems a little clearer in here than it is along the edges? And that's because sometimes the plastic kind of emits these chemicals that get on proof coins. So when you take them out of the plastic, you get this little kind of bit. It almost looks like a dusting on there. We usually just leave it on and show it to you the way it is. All right, so those are two of them. Now, what does a regular 1976 coin look like? And why is this one here? Why did I like it so much? Well, here's one of the regular 1976 coins. And when we put this one down, you can see why the colored one, or the toned one, caught my eye. So this is what a regular 1976 10 new pence coin looks like. This is the color that kind of came out of the factory, so to speak, the Royal Mint. And it came out this color, then it got worn, of course, but this one came out and somehow the metal started interacting with the air and we got this kind of coloring. And of course this one never came out. It was always in plastic, and it doesn't have any of the really interacting with the air things except for a little bit of interacting with the plastic sheath that was in. We have any more? Yeah, here's a really worn one. And when we put this next to these ones, you can see this is kind of worn down. It actually wears off the silverish looking to get a color like this. And this one, you can see the scratches, and you can't really even see the folds in the hair on this one. This one, you can't tell whether it's touching the rim or not. And that's, see how the separation between the rim on this one and this one? This is one way to tell. It's a nice strike, but it's also a much less used coin because the rim tends to compact a little bit. So that's what's happening here. And then we have one more here. And let's see where this one fits in the general scheme of things. I guess it fits right about there. So it's a shiny circulating version here. And actually in pretty good shape. We can see if we go to the edges, it's got this on it. And that's somehow it got like some smudging on it. I won't clean it because it'll just take kind of a lot of this wear off of it. But this one you can see really has a funky little space between the rim. See how this rim got rounded and this one's flat? So this one, I'm not sure exactly what happened in this one. It kind of got rounded down, but it is not really worn, but it is dirty. And so this one we wouldn't put much stock in. Now, this, of course, is the Arnold Machen portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, the second portrait. And then the back was the Christopher Ironsides engraving on the back here. Now, the 5 new pence, we've talked about that before. What's the deal with the 5 new pence? I mean, the 10 new pence. And I got ahead of myself because I want to talk to you about the 5 new pence. The 10 new pence, actually, this was made in this version, or this size, which is 11.3 grams and 28.5 millimeters in diameter, from 1968 until 1981. Then they changed it. And they changed both the portrait on it and they changed the size of the coin. And so I'm going to show you a coin. This is the new size of the 10 pence coin. And look how small that is. If we flip it over, you see it says 10 pence. It doesn't say new on the back anymore. So there's a couple years where they had, it would just said 10 pence. It was this size. But then they went to this new smaller 10 pence. And it's just a funny size. In fact, it's a funny size, almost the same size as the old 5 new pence coins. See that? How close that is in. But here's what they did. They put a special rim. When they went to the smaller versions of the coins, they put a different rim on it. So remember I talked about this milled rim? See how they went to this really wide milling? So you knew this was a newer coin. You knew this was the small coin because both on the 10 new pence and its predecessor. And what was its predecessor? Well, they took the 5 new pence, and this is the 5 new pence in 1975, and they made that smaller in 1990. So here's the new small 5 new pence, and guess what they did? Put the wide milling on the edges. So when they took the 10 pence, and because they did this in 1990, it allowed them to make this one smaller in 1992. So when this came out, the small 10 new pence in 1992, it didn't have to contend anymore with the 5 new pence because they'd taken the 5 new pence and made it a 5 pence smaller. So here's in 1992, this was our 10 pence and 5 pence coins. See how small they were. Whereas before 1992, this was our 10 pence, 10 new pence, and this was our 5 new pence. So let's look at them next to each other in relative sizes. So look at that. So what we see here is that this is the new, smaller version of the 10 pence and 5 pence. This is the old, larger version of the 10 pence and 5 pence. And where did this one come from? Well, it's interesting because doesn't it look like it's almost the same size as, what's this one? Do you guys remember? Of course, we know this is the first portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. And that's just a beautiful engraving, isn't it? And this is the 1967, the last year of the 6 pence coin. And we see the Cecil Thomas and CT and EF here. And we also see the Mary Gillick first portrait here. So back to the 1976s. Well, what'll happen with coins is you get different coloring as you get different uses and different exposures to air and different mintages. So let's take a look at these and just talk about what the mintage was. And that is, in 1976, they made 228 million. So they made 250 million of these regular coins. They also made 100,000 of these brilliant uncirculated or proof coins. So 100,000 of these, 250 million of these, and when you make 250 million of anything, you get a lot of different both wears and uses, and that's why we get this coloring. And this looks a little funny under the camera, I know, but if you see this one in person and see how different this one looks from this one just in coloring. So these are both the same year, same coins, same manufacturing process, but they have such different colorings and tonings on them. And this is one that was used but not used much, and this is one that was not used much either, but it just has this magnificent toning. And of course this one here is one that's never been used and never will be used because it's a brilliant uncirculated or proof style mintage. And let me see if we can get that tipped back a little bit more so you can see it better. All right, that's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you might have in the comments section.